And now we have set of principles which can help us to experience peace and happiness. Well, we all aspire for peace and happiness. So here we have 7 ways to peace and happiness. Principle 1 says, fill your mind with thoughts of peace, courage, health, hope, and prayer. Well, it is very rightly said, nobody can take away your peace unless you are willing to give it away. So therefore, fill your mind with thoughts of peace. Fill your mind with courage. Be bold, be courageous. Whatever might be the situation, you don't lose courage, because at the end of it, you will be able to overcome. So fill your mind with courage. Fill your mind with health. Remember, every time when you worry, every time when you expect something bad to happen, you're going to suffer in terms of your health. So fill your mind with health. Fill your mind with hope. Be hopeful that everything will fall in place and everything will be set right and you're going to achieve what you're set out to achieve. So fill your mind with hope. Fill your mind with prayer. Now, prayer is an attitude of gratitude. Prayer is experiencing and expressing gratitude. Now, if at all somebody has hurt you, pray for that person as well, and just not for your family or for your near and dear ones. Even that person who probably caused you injury should be part of your prayer list. So fill your mind with prayer. And now the next principle says, never try to get even with your enemies. When we say enemies, people are working against you and people are humiliating you. Let's say if you're practicing principle number 1 of filling your mind with thoughts of peace, courage, health, hope, and prayer, you're up here. And the people who are hurting you or humiliating you are down here. And now if you want to get even with them, you need to come down. It's certainly not worth it. But people justify getting even with people with 2 reasons. They say, I want justice or I want to take revenge. Let's understand, justice does not belong to human beings, because whatever justice you want to experience over here is not going to be justice at all. Remember, there is the divine law, and every action will reap its own consequences. It is clear that no bad action has ever met its consequences, nor a good action has ever been rewarded. So therefore, never try to experience justice. And next is, you might say, I want to take revenge. Well, revenge is not a human emotion. Revenge is an animal trait. The fact is, a dog bites you, you don't bite the dog back. So therefore, revenge is not a human trait, and justice does not belong to human beings. Justice belongs to God. So therefore, never try to get even with your enemies. The next principle says, expect ingratitude. It's not that people are all ungrateful. It is your expectation of gratitude which makes you miserable. For instance, let's say you call me to your house and you give me a sumptuous dinner. I have the dinner because you wanted to treat me and you called me and you enjoyed my company. And then sometime later, I called you to my house and I gave you a cup of tea. You're very happy about it. But suppose you gave me a sumptuous dinner, and from the next moment onwards, you're expecting a dinner back from me. And then after some days, I call you and give you a very simple dinner. Now, what would you say? This guy, what would you think? This guy came to my house, I gave him such a sumptuous dinner, and look at what a miserly dinner he's giving me. So here, earlier a cup of tea made you happy, but right now a dinner has made you miserable. The reason is you expected gratitude. So therefore, expect ingratitude. Just do your good work and just leave. Don't even expect anything, not even a thank you. And then you find you are certainly heading for peace and happiness. The next principle says, count your blessings and not your troubles. Well, it's very important to know that. If at all we are to count all our blessings, there is so much. If I give you an assignment to take a book and a paper and write down all the blessings that you have, simple, like the way I have strength to write a piece of lines on this paper. I have a roof above my head. I had dinner. I got family. I got eyes which can see. I can breathe. Like that, if you go on listing all your blessings, you will find the day will dawn and the blessings will never end. So therefore, there's so much of blessings that we can count on and be happy. But what miserable people do, they think of all the things they don't have and they make their lives miserable. So therefore, don't magnify your troubles. Instead, magnify all your blessings and you will certainly have your peace and happiness. And with these blessings, you certainly can go about achieving whatever you want to achieve in life. Do not imitate others is the next principle. Here it does not. It means that do not covet a person's status. For instance, if you find a person is rich and he's got a lot of money, and now you want to get into that position and you're not able to, you develop something called as frustrating aspirations. And now if you see that rich person is giving some donation, you would immediately say, what for him? He's a rich man, he's donating. Suppose if the rich man does not donate, you will say, in spite of having richness, this man is not donating. So therefore, here it is because of frustrating aspirations. So never have frustrating aspirations. Instead, have constructive discontentment. Constructive discontentment is, I'm happy with what I have right now. I'm contented, but I also know I've got enough energy to work on to get all the things that I aspire for. So therefore, this is a very healthy trait of life, that is to be constructive discontentment and not to have frustrating aspirations. So therefore, do not covet another person's status, do not imitate others. The next principle says, try to profit from your losses. Well, in life, we experience only two things. Either we learn or we gain. There's nothing called a loss. Because even what you consider as a loss is nothing but an experience bought. You have bought an experience through that incident and then you became a better person. For instance, we are living a life and we need a lot of safety measures. And you must know many of them came to us free of cost because somebody did something, they suffered, and we learned from them. So many things that is helping us to live a peaceful and a comfortable life is because of the fault that was done by others. We have gained from people's losses. So therefore, we have learned. So in life, there are only two aspects. Either we are learning or we are gaining. So there's never a loss at all. The reason is that we are only becoming richer by means of experiences. And the next principle says, create happiness for others. It is very, very important. The moment you spend time trying to create happiness for yourself, only one person is making you happy. But instead, if you can create happiness for a lot of people, and some of them will create happiness for you. For instance, happiness is like a magic bouncing ball. Suppose if I have a ball and I throw it on the wall, that ball comes back to me. But happiness is a magic bouncing ball. If I throw one ball, many ball comes back to me. That means I make a lot of people happy and there'll be few people trying to make you happy. So therefore, create happiness for others. It is said, where to be happy? Now to be happy. When to be happy? Now to be happy. Where to be happy? Here it is to be happy. So therefore, happiness comes when you create happiness for others. So it's a very, very important thing. Spend all our life energy as much as possible to create happiness for others. So for this, do a turn. Do a good turn. That means you should not have a meal without doing some good for somebody unknown. Now, why do I say unknown? Because that person should not have the opportunity to reciprocate the goodness. So therefore, every day, if you can make it a practice to do a good turn, a good deed to somebody whom you have never known, and do a good deed and never leave your contact behind. That means that person should never get an opportunity to come back and reciprocate to you. And the moment if you can live a life of this kind, of creating happiness for others, you are truly going to be happy. So here we saw 7 ways to peace and happiness. And if we can live by all these principles, certainly peace and happiness is for us for sure.